Let me tell you an eerie tale about a mysterious happenstance in a remote farming community. It explores how evil can take root when suspicion kills trust between neighbors. Listen close. Our story begins in the farmlands of Buckley County, a rural community known for acres of cornfields stretching as far as the eye can see. The residents took pride in working the land, generation after generation. Old Man Marston was one of the oldest farmers in Buckley. He and his wife Rita had tended their corn crops for over 50 years. Though advancing age had slowed them down, they still managed a small plot to provide for themselves. Each autumn, the Marstons grew a special section of Indian corn to sell for Halloween decorations. Families would come pick their own, with children gleefully scampering through the fields for the perfect ears to adorn their doorsteps. It was a beloved tradition. But this fall, things took an eerie turn. In late September, Mrs. Marston called emergency services in a panic. Her husband had gone missing overnight while irrigating their cornfield. The police searched but uncovered no trace of the elderly man. Locals joined the effort, scouring miles of terrifyingly dense corn stalks. But even infrared cameras spotted nothing amiss. Some thought Old Man Marston had just wandered off confused and fell somewhere unseen. But others whispered the corn itself may have swallowed him up. Corn was life here, could it also bring death? A pall of dread hung over the county as the days shortened and nights grew colder. Then small decorations started vanishing from front porches overnight. A ghost? Goblins? No one knew. By mid-October, folks were on edge, with kids afraid to play outside and parents wary of being watched from the stalks. The Marstons' cornfield lay untouched. No one dared enter after the elders' bizarre vanishing. With Halloween nearing, some teens convinced each other that confronting their fears was the only way to be rid of this specter haunting their town. If they survived trespassing in the haunted field, it would somehow exorcise the evil. So late one moonless night, 5 foolish youths hopped the fence around the Marston farm and crept through the overgrown pumpkin patch toward the cornfield. Brandishing flashlights like weapons, they stepped onto the dark soil. Row by endless row, they pushed forward into a living maze so quiet it muffled their pounding hearts. The corn swallowed them into a labyrinth crossed by unnatural shadows. Panic descended quickly as the black maze turned them around over and over. Were those footsteps rustling behind them? A whisper on the wind? Ready to flee this nightmare, they finally located the boundary fence, but it was now on the wrong side. Confused and exhausted, they wandered deeper as stunted misshapen stalks emerged. In a small clearing, their lights illuminated a bizarre sight, a perfect patch of Indian corn amidst the tangled field. Someone had been secretly tending it. Yet the thick layers of dust showed no footprints led here or away. Dread gripped them. This was no earthly farm. Suddenly, flashlights sparked and died. The teens huddled together, screaming as an unholy apparition emerged before them, Old Man Marston, but ghastly pale with empty glowing eyes. Sinister voices swirled in the wind as he lurched towards them. Sharp leaves slashed their skin as the maniacal figure advanced. The terrified teens fled wildly through the demonic maze. By some miracle, they escaped the evil cornfield's grasp. Shaking and sobbing, they told their tale, bearing cuts as proof of the supernatural encounter. Sleep left Buckley County that night. Yet when police reluctantly searched again at dawn, they found nothing unusual, just neat rows of healthy corn. Ghosts left no footprints. And Marston's body still lay missing, 6 feet under or consumed. The tale spread like fire, growing more elaborate with each telling. Some now believed Marston's tortured spirit haunted his field for eternity. Others saw darker forces at play. Fear and mania escalated as more decorations went missing right off front stoops. The phantom thieves escalated too, taking pumpkins, reeds, fall flowers. Only blessed holy water kept the specter away, some claimed. Finally, the county sheriff had enough of this ridiculous hysteria. Declaring all this nonsense a dangerous prank, he rallied a search party on Halloween Eve to uncover the truth. Into the inky field they marched shoulder to shoulder, finding the crop bare and ordinary. Their flashlights revealed no ghosts or demons, just perfect corn ready for harvest. The party pressed on until they located a makeshift hut of cornstalks tucked away in the far corner. Inside cowered those four missing teens, half-starved after days in hiding. Emerging scowling from the hut came Old Man Marston himself. Grizzled and dazed, but very much alive. He had gotten lost that night in the cornfield and hit his head. Finding shelter in this secluded corner, he had stayed alive eating the corn while slowly nursing himself back to health. He was weak with dehydration but otherwise unharmed. Seeing the ears of Indian corn adorning the little shack, the sheriff put the pieces together. The kids had been stealing decorations to survive. They concocted the ghost story to ward off danger. A shockwave of relief swept the county along with deep shame. In their escalating fear and suspicion, they had abandoned reason and turned on their neighbors. Their overactive imaginations fed collective mania. The sheriff gave a stern warning, then sent the wayward youths home for overdue punishment. But he was just glad wisdom had prevailed before xenophobia and panic caused real harm. As Old Man Marston rested and regained strength, sympathy poured out from residents. This kindly elder had suffered enough without becoming fuel for folk tales. They should have searched more and speculated less. The people of Buckley County tried hard over the next year to regain each other's trust. Being so quick to suspect evil in their midst had almost unleashed the real darkness, distrust. By the next harvest, the whole cornfield debacle had faded into humorous legend. People told it as a cautionary fable about the dangers of irrational groupthink. Quiet settled again in the rustling rows. Yet sometimes at dusk, a chill still creeps over Buckley fields. The corn sighs and whispers memories only it can recall. Of a close call with darkness and what stirs when good folk cease to lean on each other. Faith must stand resolute, even in the face of the unexplained. For forces that wish us harm feed on division and fear. The true test of any town comes when shadows gather under the moon. Will they stand together and light lanterns? Or barricade doors and draw curtains? The choice between comfort and community continues. So ends our eerie tale of the haunted cornfield that lay within the human heart all along. When this story is told in futures yet to unfold, what lessons will echo through the years? Will new generations heed the warnings not to let suspicion and fear sow darkness in their own spirits? One day, we must all reap what we have sown. But tonight, let compassion and wisdom guide us. The true harvest is not what we gather, but what we cultivate together. Rest easy, my friends. This field is clear. For now. Well, that certainly took some dark turns before the light triumphed. I aim to craft a cautionary tale about how fear and hysteria can take root in communities, turning neighbor against neighbor. Hopefully the story provides some food for thought, or at least some Halloween chills. Please let me know what you think. Your feedback helps me learn and improve future tales.